everyone. Just thought I would do a quick walkthrough of what's been keeping me busy, trying to get the garden planted, and show you where we're at. We're going to start with, this is a pot of beets. Now, this is a crop I grow not to eat, but to use in my crafting. So, fingers crossed they do okay. Then I have a large spot where nothing is planted yet, but I think I'm going to fill this in with zucchini squash. Then we come over under the tree and you can see my potato barrels. And hopefully when I added dirt yesterday, I didn't completely ruin my harvest, because I didn't realize you were supposed to leave some of the green sticking up above the dirt. I thought you just covered it. But you live and you learn. If I get a harvest, great. I only spent $1 on seed potatoes, so I'm not out anything if I don't. Then, well, you can sort of see our wheat is growing like crazy. And that is planted solely to keep all of that from washing, because whenever we get rains, it just washes through there, and grass won't grow because it only gets sunlight during the winter. So I convinced my husband not to kill the wheat this spring and just leave it to hopefully save some of my soil. Now up here in the other corner of the deck, we have another pot of beets, which these get more sunlight and are actually doing better, but you live and you learn. You got to figure out where to plant this stuff. Then in this corner, you can see I've got Swiss chard. If I can keep the bugs from eating it, I might actually get to try some of it this year. Then I've got 2 cauliflower plants, which really, I guess I need to fertilize them or something to get them growing, or we're going to be too hot and they're going to stop growing completely. And then I put another row of beets directly in the ground to see how well they grow here in our soil. Then over here on the long side of the deck, I have more potatoes. These are just planted in topsoil, so they're not growing as well. 2 cabbage plants, but they're not wanting to head out, so I don't know if I need to tie them up or just let them go and just use them like big leaves. Then we have one of our little baby trees that we thought it was dead and then it came back, so I just keep watering it up. Also have my decorative sweet potato vines, which are finally starting to take off. And here you can see an experiment I'm trying this year. I have tons of fabric that is basically dry rotting because I don't have enough time to sew it all up. So I'm using it as a weed block and putting my drip cord on top of it. And this right here is all zucchini. All the way down to that end of the deck where there's more potatoes. And most of my garden is living on the deck right now because this year I didn't get my seeds started early enough, so they're still sitting up here waiting to grow. But here we have eggplants and sunflowers. And there's some of my tomato plants. And there's bell pepper plants. And then we get down here where I'm waiting on pumpkins and more eggplants and more tomatoes and squash and gourds, all to finally germinate and start sprouting. Now on this side of the deck, you can see I've got 5 more cabbage, which I thought they would be out before my squash came up, so I planted my squash between them. And they're just not heading up, so I don't know. And then over here is more bell pepper plants. And all along the edge of my deck, I have mint. This is its 3rd season, and I just let it go because it helps keep the rodents out from under the deck and out of the house. And out here is some potatoes planted directly into the dirt. We'll see if they grow. And then the 4 little jalapeno plants that I brought home yesterday that aren't looking too whoopee today. Then we come over here and you'll see got more squash. I believe this is Peter Pan that I planted in here, but I'm not sure and I didn't write it down. I'm sure it'll be edible, that's all that matters. Then over here, I've got some gourds started that once they start vining, I'll train down that area. And along the edge, I have more hot pepper plants. Now we come down to what I call the big garden. Here is where I'm planting my giant pumpkins that I grow for a competition, so they get their own spot. Then we have my 3 little peach trees, which I'm hoping to someday actually get fruit from. Then back there where you can see it's tilled up, I'm going to plant probably my jack-o'-lantern pumpkins in there. And then we have big garden. Right now, it's just mainly dirt being dried out by the wind. But I do have yellow saffron squash, more Peter Pan hybrid squash, green beans, tomatillos, lemon cucumbers, golden zucchini, and regular zucchini planted down here. And after this rain, they're saying where we could get 5 inches comes in and it dries out, I'll re-till it and hopefully some of the seeds from up on the deck will be ready to come down here. But that is what has been keeping me busy and away from my craft table. But 4 days of rain in the forecast means I get a break and get to go play and have fun. See y'all later.